I have a live band here tomorrow, doing like merengue, bachata, all that stuff.
For real.
Sit like this, I feel more comfortable.
Yeah, we don't have anybody to count us in, so it's 3, 2. Welcome to Deep Dive Dialogues, where nothing is as it appears on the surface and the conversations go deep. Today I'm in Dallas, Texas, and I have the pleasure of sitting with Micheal Tavarez, owner of Picadera restaurant here in Dallas, Texas. So if you don't know anything about Picadera, it's the winner of the best burger and best fried chicken in Dallas. They're the 2024 winners of the State Fair Best Taste of a Savory Dish in Texas, and the first Dominican street food in the city of Dallas. 5 years of hosting the only Dominican Independence Day in Dallas. So today we're going to talk about all of that, but to forewarn you, the conversation will be in Spanglish. So if you don't know English or you don't know Spanish, I invite you to look it up. What's up, Micheal?
What's up? How you doing?
Good. So normally I do have like a rapport with my guests and I know them and we've had a friendship over years. But I reached out to you because I have heard about your restaurant and I wanted to investigate a little the food, which we did yesterday. My godsons, they loved it. So I was just curious. I have a list of questions here that I want to ask you. I was curious about how you got your start and how you were able to implement a little bit of your culture into Dallas and accomplish all the things that you've accomplished. So I would like to start with, like, where are you from and how did you get started in the food industry?
Originally, I'm from New York. Grew up there. My family owns a chain of supermarkets out there. As a kid, I was always working in different departments in the supermarket, you know, from the deli to the cash register to the meat department, wherever. Every year I was put in a new department. So I learned a lot, definitely in the deli as well. You know, cooking, I learned a lot. Managing the supermarkets, you know, how to manage people. Once I got older, I did get a management position at one of the stores. But yeah, I just grew up in a family of business and I always loved it. And from there, I moved on to starting a sales and marketing company for solar panels.
Oh, okay.
Which I ran my own team, you know, multiple markets and stuff like that. And then at night, I had my own entertainment business, recording studio where I had a lineup of like DJs and stuff like that. I would book to venues to open or close for like.
What type of music is it?
It was more like EDM house music DJs.
Okay,
so
cool. I used to live in Maryland for a period of time, so house music is really big out there.
Yeah, so they used to produce, you know, in my studio, and then I'd book them and then go to the shows, and it was fun. It was a good time. But, you know, all of that experience kind of ties into, I guess, what I'm doing today, right? So marketing, product knowledge, you know, just creativity, just artistry, just everything all in one.
So originally you're from New York?
Yeah.
What part?
I was in Corona, Queens when I was born.
Corona, Queens. Okay.
Moved to Nassau County when I started going to school, like Long Island area. And then when I started doing the whole supermarket thing where I was able to live on my own, I moved to Spanish Harlem over at 116th.
Okay, so it's interesting because you said that you grew up in a deli. So my father owns a convenience store. So I grew up in a convenience store. So
Nice.
The bus would literally like drop us off in front of the store and then we would help like stock shelves and stuff like that.
Cool.
So do you think that like your experience growing up in the deli shaped your mindset around wanting to own your own business?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I learned a lot and, you know, that's what I grew up with. And I wanted to, you know, continue being part of the family business. But then I was like, I'd rather, you know, do something I want to do for myself and not ride coattails, you know what I mean?
Okay, so, ¿qué te interesó en hacer un restaurante? Como siempre has gustado cocinar y comida y cosas así, ¿cómo empezaste en esta parte?
Bueno, en sí, cuando me mudé a Dallas, aquí no había nadie vendiendo comida dominicana.
¿Quién te enseñó cómo cocinar?
Cuando me mudé aquí, cuando vi que no había comida dominicana, a cada rato estaba llamando a mi mamá, mami, ¿cómo se hace esto? Y aquí no hay nada. Y entonces, tú sabes cómo son las mamás dominicanas. En sí me enseñó, pero a la misma vez no me enseñó mucho porque échale un poquito de esto y un poquito de eso. Mami, necesito medidas.
Me falta un poquito a cocinar, entonces me puede enseñar a mí a
Sí.
cocinar. Sí. So, how did you end up in Dallas? So, I hear you saying that after you got here, you're like, there's no Dominican food here, or you wanted to create your own and facilitate that environment for other people too. So, how did you end up here from New York?
Yeah, so as I was doing the whole solar thing in New York, okay. Residential solar sales, the opportunity arose to open up new markets, and Texas was one of them. And just ended up picking Dallas, to open up another office and hire sales teams. And from there, started doing Austin and Houston, and then things are rolling. And then all of a sudden, COVID hits.
Okay.
So, lost the sales teams, materials were not being shipped. So that was gone. And then I was thinking, like, what am I going to do next? Like, pacing back and forth. And I had been teaching myself now for almost 3 years how to cook Dominican food. But at this point, I was like bringing it to, I had a good group of friends that I'd met at that point already, bringing them to parties, bringing them empanadas and stuff. And everybody just kept saying, dude, you should sell this. Dude, you should sell this. This is so good. So it just like, I was watching the news and they were like bars and like breweries and stuff like that want to open need to sell food. Mm-hmm. So I was like, boom, I got on my computer. I made a website. I made an Instagram. I made a logo. I was like, let's give this a shot. I started calling around and started booking, pop-up events. And that's how it all started.
Well, I love that because like this season of the podcast is called Hustle. And it's all about, I think you and I were talking about that earlier. People talk about things, but it's a matter of putting it into action and just doing it.
Absolutely.
And so I love the fact that you weren't saying like, I used to want to cook from like 8 years old or whatever. You're like, I thought of this idea. I've been teaching myself how to do it. And then I pursued it and made it happen.
Yep.
And so I think that I kind of like that story better versus someone who's always wanted to cook, somebody who went from selling solar panels, working in the deli, but then saying like, you know what, I see that this is a need that needs to be met.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do what I can to fulfill it.
Absolutely. So, I was basically, I was like waiting around for somebody to open up a restaurant. And I was like, well, if no one's going to do it, then I'm going to do it. I was a little afraid because I didn't have that, professional culinary background. Right. And in 2019, Dallas had just won on, I believe it was Bon Appetit, had just won Restaurant City of the Year. And here I am with no experience trying to start a new venture with Dominican food that no one's ever really tried in Dallas unless you've been to the East Coast or to the Dominican Republic or, Florida or something like that. So it was a little nerve-wracking, and I hashtagged myself, I am not a chef.
but let me tell you how inspiring that is to me, because I tell you, like, all of these different ventures that I pursued, even teaching Spanish, like, I've never had the certificate of a teacher.
Yeah.
Now, my military experience, but sometimes that doesn't translate. So I love that part of the story as well, because it just goes to show that even if you've never done it, the fact that you work to get the training and the knowledge that you need, and you put yourself in position to be able to be excellent at it without the title,
Yep, absolutely.
And so I love that. And I feel like you are a chef because those were some good empanadas.
That's when I started. We're 5 years in now. The hashtag doesn't exist.
The hashtag should be, I'm the chef now. I am the chef. I love it. So, háblame un poquito de cómo empezaste el Día de Independencia aquí en Dallas, the Independence Day.
Ya cuando ya comenzaba a hacer los eventos de comida en diferentes lugares, había un lugar aquí mismo en Deep Ellum, a donde estamos ahora, se llamaba Deep Ellum Distillery, y comenzamos a hacer una fiesta ahí cada semana, y después los clientes me seguían diciendo, tenemos que tirar una fiesta para la independencia, y yo dije, bueno, vamos a ver qué hacemos. So, comenzó chiquito, pero el primer año tal vez nos llegaron como 300 gente.
Okay.
Y este año hicimos como más de 1,000 gentes. Y cada año vamos creciendo, poniéndole cosas, mesa de dominó, bandas en vivo. Afuera hacemos como un estilo de una fiesta en la calle. Más clásico, la gente va dando bachata, merengue, salsa con la banda.
¿Y cómo se siente poder tener los recursos y las oportunidades para juntar a la gente de tu cultura?
En sí, tú sabes que el negocio de restaurante es difícil. Entonces, lo único que me sigue, tú sabes, trabajando todos los días es que la gente que vienen y nos apoyan y apoya Picadera, siempre nos da tú sabes, ese agradecimiento de lo que estamos haciendo. Entonces, por eso cada año empujo para hacer mejor, mejor, no solo con la comida, pero con los eventos y en sí trae esa cultura dominicana aquí a Dallas que no existía.
Mm-hmm. Who are some of the best guests that you've had the pleasure of serving inside of Picadera?
Some of the best guests?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've had Texas Ranger baseball players.
Okay.
We've had, more recently, Kenny from Love Island from the last season.
Okay.
Amara La Negra.
Oh, I'm a fan of her.
Yeah, there's a bunch. But yeah, I mean, especially, in Dallas, when I started, there were no Dominican restaurants out here. I mean, we're still the only one in the city.
Right.
So, but now you're getting a couple here and there sprinkling in the suburbs. So we'd get a lot of those people that would come in, be on the baseball team and be playing the Texas Rangers and they're Dominican. They come and eat.
Yeah.
Because it was only spot. Or like Amara La Negra was out here for like a red carpet event and she saw there was a Dominican spot and she was like, I gotta go try.
Yeah.
So a lot of that is what happens, because I mean, I still consider what we have a niche in this market.
Yeah, it is a niche. Let's see. What does maintaining your culture while still implementing what it means to be an American mean to you? What does that look like? So maintaining your culture in the United States while still clearly implementing what it means to be an American because you started from the bottom, now you're here.
Yeah. So I was born in New York.
Mm-hmm.
My parents were born in Dominican Republic.
So how do you embrace both cultures?
So, I mean, my parents taught me Spanish. I didn't learn English till 6th grade in school, was an ESL. So getting that kind of education from my parents of like, hey, let's teach you Spanish. I really appreciate that because I have a lot of cousins that are Dominican that don't speak a lick of Spanish. So, there's that, being able to talk English and Spanish, embracing both cultures. And just, I guess one thing I could say, let's go to the menu on how I'm embracing both cultures.
Okay, I love that.
Being in Dallas, knowing that people don't really know what Dominican food is, down the line, I've been able to curate what I call an approachable Dominican street food menu, right?
I love that.
So people know what sandwiches are, what burgers are, what fried chicken is, and all that stuff.
Right.
So I'm not steering away from the Dominican culture. I'm utilizing the street food that people could relate with, but still using our authentic ingredients in them. Mm-hmm. And, and obviously incorporating a lot of, the chimmy burger, it's a chimmy, but we got to call it chimmy burger so people understand.
Yeah.
And then obviously chicharrones de pollo, it's fried chicken, you know. So like, that it's a good mix of.
And I'll say that, Michael, like one of the things, so I traveled to Dominican Republic extensively. Like I've probably been maybe 8 or 9 times now. And one of the things that I love about the culture is chimichurris. Like every time I go there, I do get the street food. And it's something about it that's just like, if you go there and haven't had that, because some people go and they go to the resorts.
Yeah.
And
they don't get that experience.
They don't get the everyday experience. So I will say that I'm thankful and grateful that I've had that, to be in the different neighborhoods, to talk to the different people, to hear different stories, and then to also see them hustling out there with how they make money. So yeah, I love that here, because when I saw chimichurri, I was like, dang, not only do they not have a Dominican place besides for this one, but it's very rare if they do have a Dominican place that you're going to find a chimichurri.
Yep.
Because normally it's like mofongo or something like that. Yeah. So I love that.
Yeah, and that's the one we won Best Burger with, so.
Okay. So, all right, here's the part where I take off the teacher hat and I allow you to teach me. So what Dominican words would you like to add to my vocabulary today?
What Dominican word? I don't know what's in your arsenal.
Okay, tell me your favorite ones and I'll tell you if I know them or not. Give me 2.
Are we talking Dominican slang or?
Dominican slang. Que lo que?
Tuta mochila.
Okay, what does that one mean? I don't know.
You don't know that one?
Mm-mm.
So mochila is a backpack.
Okay, I know mochila is a backpack.
So if you say like, if you tell somebody tuta mochila, it's like you're, not that you're lost, but like you're like, what? How do you, see, this is my brain trying to translate.
Mine does the same thing.
It's like you're left behind.
Okay.
Like on something.
So I feel like that would be similar to like when Puerto Ricans say, tú estás picheando. Because people think pichear is like to throw. It's literally like you've been like, estás perdido, or como no te puedo encontrar, or como.
Let's say I told you something you didn't know about it.
Oh, so
and
went over
you're
your
just
head.
like, well, you didn't know about it. It's like, Like you're,
Like, okay, I get it. Like if you're putting me up on something that I didn't know.
yeah, it's
Oh,
like you didn't know about that. Tu estás mochila, like,
okay. Like backdated,
yeah,
kind of. All right.
yeah. It's that slang, you know what I mean? It's just,
But that's a new one. I haven't heard that.
that's an old one too, though. Yeah.
Ooh.
My cousins used to say that back in the days.
Okay, so we always end deep dive dialogues with a deep quote. So and it has to be a deep original quote.
I got to make a quote.
Yep, from Michael. A deep original quote. So it can be in English or in Spanish. I would challenge you, you're up a little challenge, I'll challenge you to give me one in both. But if you only want to do one in English or Spanish, I'll take it.
Right now.
Yeah. Off the top of your head.
A quote?
A deep quote. It has to be deep.
I'm not good at this stuff.
Yes, you are.
The only quotes I know are the ones that people
Have said?
Yeah.
If it had to be a quote from Michael about how to succeed in life or how to keep peace in life.
No matter what happens and what people tell you, keep fighting, keep pushing. It's going to be a roller coaster. Hold on for the ride and just make shit happen.
That was good. That was good. Now say it in Spanish.
No.
All right. Well, you heard it here first. This is an episode of Deep Dive Dialogues with Micheal Tavarez of Picadera. I feel like his quotes were good. His story is amazing. It definitely inspired me. And we will see you next time.